Good morning and welcome to the Sunday service. This morning we're going to meditate few minutes. After that, Dhamma talk. Today Dhamma talk is going to give Reverend Sansara. Right now we're going to practice a little bit loving kindness meditation. Sansara is going to lead the meditation.
Now let us sit in a comfortable upright posture to relax body and mind, to prepare ourselves to spread loving kindness thoughts. First, let us breathe in and breathe out gently for a couple of minutes. Us meditate on loving kindness meditation. In this way, may all the living beings be physically well. May all the living beings be safe. May all the living beings be mentally well. Let's continue spreading loving kindness thoughts in this way until we hear the bell sound.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Now time for the Dhamma talk, and Reverend Chandasara is going to give a Dhamma talk today.
Most respected Mahasangha and dear listeners, I'm going to recite 2 verses from the Samiti Sutta from Samyutta Nikaya. Abhutva bhikkhasi bhikkhu, nahi bhutva bhikkhasi, bhutva bhikkhu, bhikkhasu, matang kalo upajjagati. Kalam voha na janami, channo kalo na dissati. Tasma abhutva bhikkhami, mamang kalo upajjagati. As we know, the teaching of the Buddha is a middle path, avoiding 2 extremes views of the world. The first one is, first or second, either spiritual eternalistic view, that is, everything is permanent, our soul is permanent. That kind of wrong view is set aside when it comes to Buddhist philosophy. And the second extreme view is materialistic annihilationist view. That is, after that, no more continual life. And this end is very dangerous when compared to the first one, because anyone bear this view can commit any kind of wrong deeds in this world, because the belief there is no consequences of actions or karma. So in this scenario, the teaching of the Buddha is significant because it avoids falling into these 2 extremes and teaching the middle doctrine, that is, the dependent co-arising teaching, or we call in Pali Paticcasamuppada. So keep in mind, and this background will help us to understand the verses that I have recited before. The first verse was recited by a goddess or deity to Venerable Samiti. Once upon a time, Venerable Samiti was taking bath in a hot spring near the temple called Tapodarama early in the morning. And then a goddess staying in the sky nearby the hot spring recited this stanza. It means, "O Venerable, you are leading a monk life, not having enjoyed sensual pleasure." So basically, the goddess suggests Venerable Samiti to enjoy sensual pleasure, and only after that start lead a monastic life. And furthermore, the goddess said, because the time is precious, unknown, so don't waste the time to waiting for timely benefits of living a monastic life. So this is quite opposite. The suggestion is quite opposite to the monastic life. And this is, although this conversation was taken between a goddess and a monk, a monastic, it's practical for everyone to lay life also. Then Venerable Samiti, he replied to the goddess that I don't know the time. That means I don't know when I will die. I don't know. It's uncertain. My life is uncertain. That's why I have to practice monastic life from now, right now. So this is why I selected this sutta or this stanza, because it suggests us to practice from the time that we think we have to begin our life, without waiting for the final moment, or without waiting until the last moment of life, because we have to start practicing or living a good life when we have ability, when we have strength to lead according to the Dhamma. And then Venerable Samiti, he was saying like, and also I don't want to waste time spending or enjoying sensual pleasure. That's why I start monastic life, leading a spiritual life, avoiding sensual pleasures. And after this conversation, the deity came down to the ground and again suggested to Venerable Samiti, saying like, the monastic life practice is temporal, it takes time. And the enjoy, because the enjoying sensual pleasures is like immediate experiences, and it produces immediate results. Then finally, Venerable Samiti, he confronted, I will use the term confronted in a peace, in a sense of peaceful way. He reiterated that, referring to the Buddha, the sensual pleasures, the Buddha taught, was a temporal, not an immediate. And also the sensual pleasure produces consequences that is not beneficial in the samsara. And the Dhamma that is the Buddha has laid down is beneficial and helps to liberate from samsara, or the cycle of birth and death. The qualities of the Dhamma are recited in this sutta also. It says the Dhamma is untimely. That means at the time we start practicing the Dhamma, we start experiencing benefits. We start experiencing, for an example, if we practice virtue or the sila, we start experiencing reduction of craving, and also we are able to master verbal deeds, physical bodily deeds, and mental deeds. And we have other two higher practices, that is concentration, samadhi, and prajna, that is a wisdom, practice of wisdom. That means samadhi, right view, practicing right view. So here, what is sensual pleasures? That is, when we look at the definition, we find the definition in Alagadupam Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya. It says 5 sensual objects are producing sensual pleasures. And these 5 sensual pleasures are not permanent. They finally turn into suffering. That's what Buddha said in Alagaddupama Sutta. Apasabda kama buddha, that means the sensual pleasures that produce pleasures or pleasant, having very less, producing very less pleasant, less happiness when compared to the pleasant experiences produced by the spiritual path. I would say Buddhist path. And thus it blocks the followers of the Buddhism to enjoy sensual pleasures at all. I would say no, because Buddhism has laid down precepts, concepts of philosophy that is, even for lay people, general, and for even monastics, we have to have materials or supporting materials. For example, food, shelter, medicine, and like economy to survive. We can earn. To survive, we have to earn, but based on Buddhist principle, that is avoiding extreme practices. I would mean here extreme practices, that whichever that disrupts or I would say disturbs the life of oneself and the life of other people also and other living beings. If we have moderate life in sensual pleasures, our enjoyment, we can have house, we can have everything, like Buddhist teaching of simplicity does not mean to avoid or to give up everything we have and finally suffer like living a homeless life. If we misunderstood in a way, that means we are lost in the middle. That's why we should have, good vision. The vision we get, this kind of good vision or proper vision we get after learning Buddhism. I would say Buddhist philosophy. That is directly, if I say Buddhist philosophy, I would directly point out the dependent co-arising theory. And also, avoiding, as I mentioned before, like avoiding these two, avoiding the two extremes. That is eternalistic spiritual view and the materialistic annihilationist view. Buddhism has its path, that is the middle path. That is, we say, the Noble Eightfold Path. I'm not going to describe each of the Noble Eightfold Path because you listeners have already heard from many listeners, and so and also you can read. I'm not going to. That's why I'm not going to explain one by one, but I want to say that practicing middle path, avoid two extreme practices. One extreme practices is like, for an example, like this idea is found in a Charvaka philosophy. It says, Yavat jivet sukham jivet, rinam krutva gritam pibet. Basically, it says like, until we live, we have to enjoy sensual pleasures, even by taking loan, because after that, there is no more rebirth. And they basically reject karma, like they don't have an idea that after rebirth, after that, we are reborn. So people having this idea, we also like when we are young, like sometimes we have that idea like we have strength, so we should enjoy our sensual pleasures at our best by any means we have to enjoy. So that kind of idea, has is related to these annihilationist views. So if we follow the middle path, that means in simply, if we can master verbal deeds, that means I would say lying, using harsh words, and there are two, like one is like backbiting or slandering. If we can master verbal deeds, that is turning into good deeds, good verbal deeds, that is pleasant to other people, that is beneficial for one's life, for others' life. And also the second one, I would say the next one is taming our bodily deeds, that is avoiding taking the life of other beings and avoiding taking what is not given. The next one is avoiding from sexual misconduct. So if we can tame ourselves from committing bad bodily actions and turn into good bodily actions, that is avoiding from killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct. And also next one is, if we can tame our mind, that is reducing our desire, craving, also wrong views. That is the brief or summary of the middle part. That means taming our bodily actions, taming our verbal actions, and taming our mental actions. These mastering these actions, bodily, mental, and physical, verbal, helps us avoid extreme views and the extreme lifestyle. And practicing this middle path helps us avoid conflicts at best, and helping us to be peace in ourselves, and then finally attain the liberation from suffering. I think I'm going to stop here. If anyone has a question I can answer or want to add anything, I'm happy to reply, to give answer as my best. And I'm thinking it is better to have kind of Dhamma discussion rather than just preaching, because I feel like it's much more beneficial when we do discussion rather than when continuing preaching. So I'm going to stop here, and if anyone has any question, just please, I'm happy. Thank you. Yeah, sure. Okay, that's a good question. It's not, I would directly answer the question. I would say you don't have to wait. You can start right now. You can do yourself right now at this moment if you want, whenever you want. You know what? This particular sutta I cite, from which I cited the verses, it says basically, like the deity suggesting Venerable Samiti to wait, like to enjoy for sensual pleasures and wait until the final moment to practice the monastic life. But Venerable Samiti, he replied to the deity that I shouldn't have to wait because I don't know when I will die. I might die maybe tomorrow, maybe tonight. So I better practice my spiritual life from now, from this point, So to your question, like, start if you think something is not enough and you have to renew, just do it right now at this moment, or when you go home. You can do anytime when you feel good time for you. Don't wait for tomorrow, for the after tomorrow, for specific occasion, because we don't know about life, as in a sutta. We can do ourselves. You don't have to wait until a specific ceremony. You don't have to wait for a specific ceremony, But for some people, it is good. Like, I don't know, like some people feel much more comfortable, waiting for a ceremony. But I would suggest, and according to like the qualities of the Dhamma, it says like the Dhamma is untimely. That means the time we start practicing, that is the good time for us. So according to the Dhamma, according to my idea, we shouldn't have to wait for a specific time. Just start right now. That's it. Yeah.
Not to steal, not sexual misconduct, not to lie, and not to
right.
But not absolute. Life. I can achieve absolutely. So somehow I say something like sound like I lie. So I feel bad about that, and I want to renew my vow, so I won't do it again.
Mm-hmm.
So in the case I can renew my vow, my precept.
Yes, you can do anytime. Anytime you can renew your vows. If you feel something was not good happen in the morning or daytime, even you can do it, before going to sleep, or anytime you can do, because it's very difficult, like we general, living in a society, we're social beings, like we have so much disturbances, so much, so we cannot escape. Sometimes we may commit some kind of breach of 5 precepts, one of those, but don't regret continuously. Just understand that we have done something not good. And like we breach even like small, I would say small section, or I would say like very in a mild way, not a severe. Even if we commit a severe way, just like we should vow, not to repeat again. For an example, I would say like Angulimala, he committed crimes, killing many people, but finally he realized that he did bad and he avoided, and finally he became enlightened person. That means whatever we have done, maybe small, slight, bad deed, or what more than that, but we have the chance to be good, to renew our vow, even for monks, like monastic, they used to practice, like we call pratyavekshana, that is like looking back, reflecting what we have done daytime, sometimes we do nighttime before we sleep, what I have done, did I do any activity that is not suitable from life, that is not suitable for other people, did I commit anything wrong? Then we vow, like not to repeat the following day. That's how we do practice. And then but it doesn't mean like we have to be super perfect, unless we attain the enlightenment, we never be super perfect, but we continue our life, adjusting, managing, mastering our verbal behavior, mental behavior, and physical behavior. So once we try slowly, we say that this kind of path is called gradual path. We do gradually improving, progressing until we become like natural to the kind of practices, perfect practices. Pleasure. Thank you.
Yes, Victor?
Second. Thank you so much for your talk today. I really enjoyed the discussion on these issues. I think it's very important today. And thank you for talking about a gradual process.
Thank you so much for your kindness always. Thank you. I'm grateful to you.
I'm very grateful you're at our temple. Very grateful.
Is there any more question or comment?
Anyone has a question can ask, and I have to unmute.
Hi, I have a question.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. This is the first time that I've tuned in online, and I'm so grateful. I was ordained at IBMC in 1984 by Reverend Dr. Karuna Dharma. And it's been very hard as a woman, as a bhikkhuni, to find a practice and maintain a practice without her being there, because sometimes I went and I was the only female there, and I don't know if it was me or my experience is that it wasn't the same. It was, she was, she brought a different aspect to the temple. And I was so glad to tune in today and to hear you. I haven't met you before, but you were excellent, and your talk really helped me. So I'm going to tune in online and hopefully come back to the temple at some point. And it's nice to see you, Reverend Shanti. It's been a long time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again about your comment. If anybody have any more question.
I actually have one last thing. I can go for a year with right action and right speech and practicing the Eightfold Path. And then hardships come, and it seems like I can go for months without catching up, without recentering. Hopefully, now that I found this online, I'm thankful for technology, I'll be able to get centered again. But I understand if, you realize on a nightly basis that you may have done something wrong. But when I wake up in the morning, I don't remember anything from the previous night. I dream, I wake up, and it's a new day. And the question is, what happens when someone goes so long without changing, without improving, without practicing? It's so much harder, I think. I mean, do you agree?
So I also have a question to that. I don't think I got your question clearly, but I'm trying to answer my best. That is, if we want to progress, we have to keep practicing. If we stop at a point, we will be there. It's like every time, every day, we are like progressing. We are like kind of progressing. Our life is continuous, and we are like flowing. We don't stuck. Yes, only today. We have tomorrow. So I think no one is stuck in a same point, because we are flowing in day-to-day lives, with day-to-day lives. I think without practicing or without learning the Dhamma, we would not progress. But someone questioned once. There was a monk questioned Buddha. Is like, the teaching is too huge. It's very difficult to understand, very difficult to practice, too much thing to do. Then Buddha suggested the monk, you don't have to think too much about that. Just master mental behavior, physical behavior, and verbal behavior. That's a simple exercise. So if we can master mental, verbal, and physical behavior, that will help us progress in the Dhamma. So that's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. You answered it.
Thank you.
I'll make one comment. Okay. Like mid-race Catholic. I went to church growing up for an hour every Sunday for years. Found that IBC about 16, 17 years ago. And I come in and out. I stay away sometimes for months, sometimes for a year, and I come back. My kids grew up, they came back. My grandson, now I'm trying to introduce him. He's little, so sometimes staying put, it's hard.
Yeah.
But I feel, to kind of answer this question, that what we take from the experience of the temple and the teachings, it's tough in the society to maintain.
Right.
And like you said, sometimes you might say the wrong speech or the wrong deed, but you do reset. You have that glory that you reset every morning.
Yeah.
And you're able to do the right thing.
Yeah.
So if you're not here every day, it doesn't mean you don't keep it with you. You don't keep it down on the teachings. You can do them every day in your life. But simple things. Just kindness to strangers. So you can stay away, but you're always present. You're always here. The love and the kindness is always here.
Right.
And you just gotta pass it on. This is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So in that sense, you're teaching that.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Thank you so much. Like, I agree with you, like having kindness, like starting with the simple. Yeah. And also we shouldn't have to have go to the specific place, to practice the Dhamma. Anywhere, any places we go, that is, the Dhamma should be within us. I agree with you. And also the kindness, like compassion should be the product of the good, right vision we should have, Without right vision, we may be compassion, but it's like a kind-hearted fool, So any kind of compassion or kindness should be the product of right view, I would say, right view. So yeah, I agree with you. Thank you.
All right, it looks like no more question. So thank you, Chansar, again, giving a good talk. And thank you for everybody. We hope to see you everybody next Sunday again. By the way, next Sunday is Subodha. Stephen Subodha is going to give a Dhamma talk. I just sent message for him. He say he's going to talk, which is the June 5th, I believe. Sunday, he's going to give a Dhamma talk. So hopefully everybody will join with us. Right now, we're going to chant the page 4 and the page 10. Huh? Namo tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Sentient beings are numberless. I vow to save them all. Deluding passions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them all. Dhamma gates are limitless. I vow to study them all. Buddha's way is supreme. I vow to attain it. May suffering queens be suffering free, and the fear-struck fearless be. May the grieving share all grief, and the sick find help relief. Nguyện di tự không được phổ cập nhớ tin đặng dự chung sanh gian than Phật đạo. Nguyện di tự công đức phổ cập nhất thiết đặng dự chung sanh giới cộng than Phật đạo. Nguyện nhi tự không đức phổ cập nhất thiết đặng dự chúng sanh giới cộng than Phật đạo. Mani Padme Hum. Thank you again for everybody. Thanks for Chandasara and thank Ashan. He's back here. Thanks Nam again. You are after 2 weeks. You are here. Our all very old 20 more than 20 years old friends. He's with his nephew and be with us. Thank you again being with us today, and whenever you have time you can come and join. And again I mentioned next Sunday is going to give a Dhamma talk. Subodha, Stephen Subodha, please join with us. Thank you again for everybody, and by the power of the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, by the power of all the Bodhisattvas, you all be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.